From the horrifying humpback of the deep that will give you nightmares to a newly discovered glowing shark, here are 10 creatures that get creepier the deeper you go in the ocean. 10. Goblin shark. As you go deeper and deeper into the vast ocean, the kinds of sharks you encounter get creepier and creepier. There's no better example of this than the goblin shark. This species of ghoulish shark lives at the very bottom of our ocean, primarily near the continental shelves. These are the edges of our continents. According to National Geographic, they grow up to be about 12 feet or 3.6 meters in length and over 450 pounds or 204 kilos. The main reason they are so terrifying is because, well, they honestly look like something you would only see in your worst nightmares. They have super narrow noses and sharp teeth that look a lot like vampire fangs. A Japanese fisherman accidentally caught one of these sharks and couldn't help but notice the protruding snout, which reminded him of legends about a long-nosed, red-faced demon known as the Tengu. So they started calling the species Tengu zame. Zame means shark in Japanese, and this was translated into English as goblin shark. Unfortunately for us, because they live so incredibly deep, scientists don't know a lot about their behavior or why exactly they look the way they do. What we do know is that they are pretty slow creatures. They don't exactly swim fast. The goblin shark also has the disgusting ability to extend their jaws out 3 inches or 7.6 centimeters to catch prey, kind of like the xenomorph from the Alien movies. 9. Humpback Anglerfish. There are a lot of different kinds of anglerfish in the ocean. These fish are easily recognizable because of the light bulb organ that sticks out of their head and dangles in front of their mouth like an illuminated fishing lure. But the deeper you go in the ocean, the more terrifying the anglerfish get. The scariest of all is the humpback anglerfish, which is only about 7 inches or 18 centimeters long. But for what it lacks in size, it makes up for in creepiness. These fish live about 6,600 feet, or roughly 2 kilometers deep, in an area of the ocean completely devoid of sunlight. Here are some characteristics of the humpback anglerfish that will paint you a clearer picture of just how creepy looking they really are. They have massive mouths and huge stomachs, along with ridiculously pointy teeth for skewering unsuspecting prey. The lure growing off their head is used to attract prey, and is actually filled with bacteria that glows in the dark. In the darkness where they live, other fish see this little light and are attracted to it. Once they get close enough to it, the anglerfish opens its jaws wide and gobbles them up. The fish is also able to hide or reveal its lure thanks to the muscular skin flaps on its head. What a sentence! This is one fish that people don't particularly want to eat. Nobody wants to stick one of these ugly fish on their dinner plate, but honestly, the brave people that have tasted this bizarre-looking fish said that it actually tastes a lot like lobster. Interesting. Because of how deep they live, fishing has basically no effect on their population. So, even though the humpback angler is probably not that rare, it's been pretty hard to study. 8. Elbow tentacles. A squid with elbow tentacles was recently discovered by science and, well, it's absolutely horrifying. It looks like an alien and has only ever been seen 12 times in the wild. A recent expedition off the coast of Australia witnessed 5 of these monsters, the first time multiple alien squid have been caught hanging out in the same place. They also captured footage of the animal for the first time, revealing just how strange this deep-sea creature really is. It's called the big fin squid. It lives about 15,000 feet, or around 5 kilometers beneath the surface, and the species is exceptionally unique in the world of cephalopods because of its giant Dumbo-like fins and long and stringy tentacles. Scientists were able to measure one of the specimens using lasers, of course. They found its head was about 6 inches, or 15 centimeters, and the rest of its body, made up of tentacles sprouting from what appear to be elbows, was 5.9 feet, or 1.8 meters. As you can tell, its tentacles were way bigger than its noggin. Unfortunately, considering how rare the big fin squid is, scientists don't know exactly what it does. They estimate the big fin can grow to be at least 22 feet, or about 7 meters. Unlike other cephalopods, the big fin squid has its tentacles jutting out at strange angles, causing them to look all tangled and messy in the water, like floating spaghetti or extremely messy bedhead. Scientists still don't know what it even uses its tentacles for. Do you have any ideas for the use of these tentacles? Let us know in the comments section down below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. 7. Snailfish. Marine biologists from Tokyo and New Zealand recently discovered a new species of fish deep in the ocean in an area where they didn't think any fish actually lived. It's a type of snailfish, and they found it at just shy of 7,000 meters, or around 23,000 feet, in an ocean trench off the coast of Peru in the Southeast Pacific Ocean. Prior to this discovery, not a single fish has ever been captured in the area. Along with the strange fish, researchers witnessed eels and giant shrimp also residing in the depths. These might also be new species, but scientists still need to do a little bit more studying before they determine that. As for the snailfish, it's a weird one. Scientists weren't actually able to catch it. All they could do was take pictures of it. The fish is completely white. It has weird fins sticking out of its body like pale bat wings, and it seems to have two black eyes on the top of its head. Nobody knows what it eats or why it lives in such a remote and inhospitable part of the ocean, but it's definitely creepy. 6. Mariana Jelly. In the Mariana Trench, which is the absolute deepest and most mysterious part of the entire ocean, scientists discovered a strange glowing jellyfish that was previously unknown to the world. This was thanks to scientists aboard the research vessel Okeanos Explorer with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They were surveying the waters around the trench when they came across a jellyfish that looked like a flying saucer. The jelly was red and yellow, it had its tentacles spread out like a net to catch unsuspecting prey, and it was living 2.3 miles or 3.7 kilometers beneath the surface. This is one of the deepest jellies ever found. It still doesn't even have a name yet. Do you have any name ideas? Drop it in the comments. As for why it was glowing, scientists believe it probably developed the ability as a way to attract food, aka prey. Small fish and sea creatures move towards its glowing body and get trapped in its net of tentacles, much like the lure of the anglerfish we mentioned previously. 5. Fish with supersight. There are fish that live so deep in the ocean, in places where sunlight can't reach, that have developed supervision. According to evolutionary biologists, this amazing ability is gifted to fish that live in the darkest parts of the ocean thanks to an increase in the rhodopsin's genes. These genes produce retinal proteins capable of detecting dim light. When the genes increase enough, the fish are able to see even the smallest bit of light. Even more incredible is that the extra genes sometimes diversify to produce proteins which allow the fish to capture photons at multiple wavelengths. What this means is that some fish, even as they swim through total darkness, thousands of feet beneath the surface, see in perfect color. It's like wearing night vision goggles, only way better. One of these perceptive fish is the creepy silver spiny fin. It lives about 3,000 feet or 915 meters deep and has been discovered with specialized rod cells inside its eyes that allow it to see in ultra-low light. The rods inside its eyes have been developed in such a way that they're stacked to see what few photons are available at such depths. This is why the anglerfish's glowing lure and the jellyfish's glowing body are such great adaptations in the deep. Animals like the silver spiny fin can see these glowing signals like a forest fire from a mountaintop in the dead of night. 4. Deep sea monster. Recently, a rather terrifying-looking fish from the deep sea washed up on a beach in California in 2021, and nobody could figure out exactly what it was. The fish was found just lying on the sandy shore. Its body was entirely black, like jet black without a single hint of color. Even the disgusting fangs sticking out of its mouth were black, as if covered in some kind of weird wet ink. It was about the size of a football with a long stalk emerging from its head, looking like a broken piece of celery. At the end of the stalk were white tips experts say were probably bioluminescent. Judging by the size of its gaping mouth, this animal, when alive, could swallow prey the size of its body. Yikes! After the fish was discovered on the beach and curious witnesses uploaded photos online, experts came forward to identify it as a football fish. The football fish lives at least 3,300 feet, or just over a kilometer beneath the surface in darkness, and is one of the over 200 species of anglerfish. The only other blackfish specimen was caught back in 1985 by fishermen in Monterey Bay who accidentally trapped one in their net. It's such a rare fish that the specimen from '85 is still housed in the San Francisco Museum. 3. The black swallower. The black swallower has the most impressive stomach of any deep-sea fish, and with a name like that, that fact is pretty easy to believe, right? To give you an idea of how much food this fish can really eat, imagine stuffing yourself on an entire goat, swallowing the bones and everything, and then letting it digest inside your stomach, which in this fantasy is basically double the size of yourself. This is the black swallower, only around 10 inches or 25 centimeters long, yet capable of consuming fish significantly bigger than itself. It has a stomach that expands, much like a snake. This deep-sea adaptation is so incredibly effective that it can really eat a fish twice its own size, then keep it trapped inside its expanded stomach while the prey decomposes. This is helped by gas released from the stomach, which helps to quickly decompose whatever the fish just stuffed into its greedy face. These gases are so strong in its stomach that they can actually force the fish up from its home thousands of feet in the blackness of the ocean, so high that it ends up bobbing on the surface. The range in which this fish lives is enormous and covers most parts of the ocean's waters, preferably in subtropic and tropic areas. It's impossible to determine how many individuals of this species are actually lurking in the ocean right now, because their range is so huge they are listed as least concern in the ICUN Red List. This means this species is far from being an endangered one, and because their conditions aren't likely to change anytime soon, this status will likely be the same for a long time to come. 2. Armored sea robin. It doesn't get much creepier than the armored sea robin. It's a super creepy fish that lives relatively deep, around 1,000 feet or 304 meters beneath the surface. Like our friend the goblin shark, it also kind of looks like an evil demon fish. It has red, pinkish skin. Its head is very large and its body looks like the end of some medieval weapon. It also has a pair of pointy whiskers covered in what seem to be spikes. It's not the prettiest animal in the ocean, and you should probably stay far away from it. The armored sea robin belongs to the Peristetidae family, of which there are about 45 species. It really does have armor too. Covering the sea robin's body are bony scutes that act as nearly impenetrable armor. But because its body is so slim, it doesn't look very strong. Instead, it looks charmingly like half of someone's spine covered in red gunk, just crawling across the seabed. Number 1. Glowing shark. Scientists have made what can only be described as the coolest ocean discovery of the century. According to Smithsonian Magazine, researchers off the coast of New Zealand have discovered a glowing shark living deep in the ocean. It's called the kitefin shark, and it's one of 3 species now known to science that literally glows in the dark. The shark can grow to be about 6 feet or 1.8 meters long, and it gives off a cool blue luminescence. It's actually the biggest known species of vertebrate on Earth that glows. It was found in 2020 at a depth of 3,300 feet or just over a kilometer beneath the surface. As we already know from all the creepy animals we looked at today, glowing in the deep ocean is pretty common. However, this is the first time the biomechanical mechanism was found in a shark. Researchers haven't figured out how the sharks glow or even why. One theory is that its glowing belly could make it more difficult to see by fish beneath it. Thanks to its shimmering stomachs, it just kind of blends in with the upper luminous atmosphere of the ocean. And at the same time, its belly helps to illuminate the ocean beneath it, almost like a helicopter spotlight that helps in the never-ending search for food. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite deep-sea monster? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe for more awesome content. See you next time! Bye!